got so much balls. In first gear, dude, this thing just wants to, even first gear, it just wants to chomp. So just got done riding this thing. It's crazy how good it is and how different it is at the same time. So I guess you could say the twin brother or the brother of this bike would be the 1200 RS, which is the Street Fighter version of the same bike, right? Same motor, same frame, same chassis, same everything. The only difference, of course, is that this one has a full fairing. Not even full, it's got the full front fairing, but it doesn't have the lowers, it's just got the mids. But also the other thing that's crazy about this thing is it has clip-ons, as to where the other one has dirt bars. So the other one has the same dirt bars that you would have, that I'm used to, that I run like on my 675 Street Triple R stunt bike. The majority of any of like the street triples or even the speed triples in the past were all dirt bars or more of an upright bar. They're not like a full wide dirt bar, they're more of like a smaller dirt bar, but still dirt bars nonetheless. Now for those of you that don't necessarily know what it means when I say clip-ons, so those are like traditional handlebars that go underneath the triple clamp, as to where like more of an upright bar would be on some type of riser on the top side of the triple clamp. So when I first started stunt riding, the majority of almost everything that I rode on were clip-ons. So it's been a while since I've ridden on clip-ons. Basically, since I started riding for Triumph back in like 2012, I don't think I've ridden clip-ons all that much at all. So for me, this bike to go back to clip-ons, it was actually pretty cool to go back and feel it. It's crazy how different it makes the bike feel. Coming from the 1200 RS that has the upright bars to the clip-ons, this bike has a whole different characteristic. It actually handles better. For me, it feels better for a stunt riding position. The other one, I like the upright bars, but I think just going to clip-ons and having something fresh after not riding them in so long is just kind of refreshing. So I actually like the clip-ons. I didn't think I'd like them. I like them. It just makes this bike feel good. And you know, in the past, like when you ride a sport bike, like the clip-ons are real narrow and like in. This one has like more of a wide stance to it. So it's almost like the same traditional clip-ons that we would run on a stunt bike setup, to where they're a little bit further out, that we have more room when you're turning, tight turns or drifting around. So it actually feels super comfortable. The other thing that's amazing on this is, of course, the motor. That 1200cc motor is like, it just has tons and tons and tons of power. So it's really good. I mean, this thing will almost do like almost 100 miles an hour in first gear. So that when you have that tall of a gear ratio, this thing is basically stock. I mean, it has a slip-on SC Project exhaust, but it still has a cat on it. It still has the big can on it. It's got a lot of stuff on it. So I mean, I don't really think the slip-on exhaust is giving it too much more power-wise. So I mean, in essence, it's basically a stock bike, and this thing rips. It's got tons of power, great for drifting, great for burnouts, great for wheelies. You know, of course, I'm talking from a stunt standpoint, but I have taken this thing on the track. It handles good on the track. It's got good power on the track. Just all around a good bike with that 1200 motor. You know, having too much power is never a bad thing, ever, right? I also wasn't too sure if I was going to be a big fan of the electronic suspension. It actually works pretty good. I mean, it's Öhlins front and rear. It's got great suspension, feels good. The clip-ons feel great for wheelies. The bike feels really planted in comparison to the 1200 RS. So we have already ridden the 1200 RS, at least in stock form, right? We did a video called Slayers of Stock, where Nick and myself took a set of stock 1200 RS speed triples, and we went out and ripped them around the track. It was a great bike, like really good for wheelies, good for burnouts, good for stoppies. This is just a different animal. It has all the same characteristics, but the clip-ons, I'm telling you, they just change everything. They change the way it feels. It feels a lot better in wheelies. It just has a better stance. Being lower into the bike, you just feel a little bit more comfortable actually, even though with upright bars, you know, they're usually more comfortable for long distance, but in terms of like attack mode riding, where you're like in a very aggressive stance and you're actually riding hard, I actually prefer the clip-ons because they put you in a really good position on the bike. It just feels really good with the way that the pegs are, everything. It's just really comfortable for everything that we like to do. Aside from that, the bike just feels good. Like it's nice to have a bike that has tons of power. I'm so used to riding All our stunt bikes are 675s. I've done a lot of riding on a 765, and it's just nice to have a lot of power, especially for drifting. I mean, this thing is basically stock. I can't wait till we go through the whole thing and get the mid pipe on, get the cat all the way gutted out, get the cat canister all the way removed, slap this thing on Tune ECU, do some tuning on it, run a filter, power commander, and really take away as much power as we can. You know, I guess I could say take it back from what they have to do for emissions, right? For emissions, they're just trying to make these things run as clean as possible, and if that means losing power along the way, so be it. You know, whatever they got to do to be able to sell these things. So I want to reverse that. I want to make all that power back. I want to see what this thing can do, and just have it as just an all-around hooligan bike. I mean, this thing is awesome, especially for somebody that's burnout, drift happy like myself. This thing just billows smoke. Like, this thing billows smoke. When you have a bike that has a tall tranny gearing like that, I mean, this thing, I mean, we're talking on a 600 that's geared in first gear for drifts. I mean, you're talking like a, who knows, 30, 40, 50 mile an hour max wheel speed. This thing in first gear, you're looking at 70, 80, 90 mile an hour wheel speed. So you're gonna be making way more smoke, but also, you know, there's a lot more, there's a lot more risk, right? You could destroy yourself. You get flung off and get high-sided and break bones, which I've done a million times. Believe me, it sucks. So I don't want to go there, but still the fact of knowing that I have that power at my disposal and that I'm able to like really get on the thing and just beat the hell out of it and get that extra speed and extra smoke. It's always nice when you do a big drift side to side and you look back and there's tons of smoke, right? When you don't have the wheel speed, you don't have that smoke. So I'm super pumped about that. But all in all, such a great bike. The clip-on sold me. One of my top 3 favorite bikes right now, period. I mean, and of course I alter, but this bike is good. Like, this bike is really, really, really good. I'm actually looking forward to building some type of drift bike out of it. I don't know, we might use it for some upcoming drift videos. Who knows? But first things first, I got to get this thing built. Like I said, I'd ridden the 1200 RS, haven't really ridden this one. I did a video for Icon on it last month. Rode it for a couple of days, but didn't really get to like really practice on it. So today was the first day that I actually got to ride this thing. I just wanted to see what it felt like stock or in stockish trim, just to kind of have a baseline to know, you know, to go off of once I do all these mods, the exhaust, cat eliminator, power commander, just to have something to go off of. So that's all next. Great bike. Could it be better? Yes. The only thing that could be better is just more power. Just snappier revving, snappier everything, and that's kind of what we're about to do. So I will take this thing back to my house, get it in the shop, get everything ready to bolt on, and just go from there, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.